important. You really matter. You are radiant, a noble being. Don't you see it? Don't you feel it? When you look inside, you can find it. Find your radiance. You can feel it. Feel your radiance. If you look, if you trust, if you look inside. Aren't you sick of the stress, the struggling, and the strife? How can you justify bending your entire life? Why are you still searching through the ashes and the dust? You will become one with the earth, and soon enough. Don't you hear the sighs of discontent? Don't you feel the nagging agitation from inaction and lack of purpose? Don't you sense the urgency? Wake up! Wake up! Grow up! Grow up! Not down. Take sustenance and you will grow strong. Love, prayer, service, focus, patience, knowledge. Knowledge. That's the real manna, the hidden manna. Take sustenance and grow. Take sustenance and grow up. Reach out and like the plant reaching hungrily for sunlight. Drink in the knowledge like the parched animal at the cool brook in the scorching heat of the noonday sun. How can you suffer, wither, and die by choice when sustenance is so close, so necessary, so accessible? Grow up. Please grow up. Rise up. Unbend those knees except in prayer. Stand up. Stand up. You were created noble. Rise up for that which you were created. Stand up. You know it's impossible for anyone to continue to walk on you while you're standing up. Stop making it easy for them. Why do you approach life as though it were already doomed? How can you live with the thought of withering before you've even bloomed? You have a choice to grow, bend, or wither and die. And you continue to choose to bend and wither. I don't understand why. For everything there is a time. There is and will be a time for each. The manna is for your own good, so use it. Why must I preach? It's your legacy. It's been ordained. Why from approaching this loftiness do you refrain? Rise up. Please.
Growing up in upstate New York, we did migrant work, and we were kind of very much in poverty. And I used to sit there in the field and dream of something bigger. And of course, when you would see Martin Luther King, you would say, "It's okay to dream." So I'm going to share I'm going to share 2 poems. One of the poems is called "Finding the Jewel Within You," and it's all about dreaming. All you need is one. To believe in your dream. That one can be anyone, or so to me it seems. Just someone to spark your desire to dig inside. Someone you can trust, someone in whom you can confide. There's gotta be someone who sees your light, who'll spur you on to win your fight. There's gotta be someone who'll see you through. But in the end, that someone must ultimately be you. A parent, a counselor, a stranger, a friend, anyone with a word of encouragement to send. Have faith in yourself. Bring forth your own jewels. Belief in yourself is your most important fuel. I ought to do that. I ought to do this. Nothing results from I ought to. I wish. I wish without action will bring no spoils to light. You must channel your energy. You must work. You must fight. You must focus your attention on powerful thoughts. Collect a life full of I dids instead of I ought. Can't you see it? Your brilliant light within. And can't you feel the fire burning from your right and desire to win. Anyone can help you get started, and anyone can help you stay on track. But you must learn to drive your own train, or you'll continue to hold yourself back. You see, I took my bag of tools and I studied all the rules. I enlisted help from supporters and I dismissed ill-wishers and fools. I started to dig, though no jewels were visible. I continued to mine when I was tired and miserable. And I continued with any and everything that I saw, and sometimes with just my own two hands. The point is, I continued to dig and dig until I was just too tired to stand. And even some of my friends said I should just stop. I was wasting my time. There were no jewels to be found, and least of all mine. And well-meaning family tried to protect me from a disappointing end. And many relationships were lost because I had no time to spend on them. So, when mining your own jewels, the ones you know are inside, be careful who you entrust. Be careful to whom you confide. I kept digging and hoping and praying and knowing, and finally one day, I noticed something was showing. I don't know when it happened. Perhaps when I began the quest, or when I finally put all my faith and trust in God and persevered without doubt or rest. You see, I'd reached my goals, my dreams, my gems. And there wasn't just one jewel. There were thousands of them. It wasn't over. It wasn't the end. Now there are new goals on the horizon. It's time to begin all over again. So I offer you this advice. In whatever you choose to do, you owe it to yourself to find the jewels that are inside of you. And you can't even think about Dr. Martin Luther King without thinking about unity. In spite of all the, quote, unearned suffering he endured, nothing he did was about revenge or hatred or getting even. He always took the high road. He just continually worked to make the world a better place for his children and us. And inspired and even driven by the nonviolent tenets of Gandhi, he lived the proverbial teaching, turn the other cheek. We celebrate his life today because he gave us hope. He gave us a role model who endured monumental suffering and still stood tall. He was truly his brother's keeper. I cannot possibly conclude a reflection on the impact of Dr. King's life without mentioning his most famous speech, I Have a Dream. And watching his prophetic dream come more and more into focus underscores the importance of vision, and that we all have to have a dream we can believe in. To me, this dream was primarily about unity. Remember, he said, I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the meaning of its true creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. He said, quote, he wanted us to sit together at the table of brotherhood. I'm going to share this poem about love and hate because when I think about him, we get upset when somebody steps on our shoes or mess with our desks or look at us wrong. And here, you think about what this man endured, and he still did not return hate for hate. Some years back, I was doing some diversity training, and one of the ladies came up to me and she said, if my mother were gay, I would never speak to her again. And I thought about that, and I saw the same hatred in her eyes that I'd seen when I came very close to the Klan. And I thought, wow, hate is just hate. It doesn't really matter why you hate. And I went home very perplexed about that, and I wrote this, and I'll conclude with this. And it's called Love and Hate, because I think this is what the man stood for. On my way to heaven, we stopped and took a detour through hell. From a distance, things looked pretty okay. I needed a closer look to tell. A feast, great food and decorations, the finest delicacies ever cooked. All ages of gender and race and capacity were everywhere I looked. It appears that they have everything. So how can this be hell? My guide just smiled knowingly and said, look closer. Can't you tell? And then it struck me. They were not eating. They were looking starved and lean. and it appears they had no control over the seating. I asked, explain to me, what does all this mean? Oh, I've got it. They can't bend their arms. Look more carefully, said my guide. The spoons to which each has been given is long enough to feed the person on the other side. Ah. And why in all cases are they seated across and dependent on the person they hate the most? He said the intensity of the hatred has bonded them. They're stuck together now, said my host. You see, life was and is a workshop. From each situation, there's a lesson to discern. But the greatest is understanding the power of love and hate. That was the basic lesson that each was to learn. A black sat across from a white person who was fuming. I won't feed him. I am white. I'd rather starve than feed a black. To sit at the same table itself isn't right. And the black glared hatefully at the white. All whites are devils and racists. I would rather die myself than help even one white subsist. Well, it's beneath me to feed a thin beggar in rags, said the rich who sat across from the poor, while the poor gazed loathingly at the plump rich and said, from me you won't get any more. The one with a cross wouldn't feed the sinner. You're not worthy because you can't see. You're not, quote, one of the saved, so you'll never get fed by me. And the Muslim and the Jew hated each other. Both were still engaged in some earthly feud. Neither would look at the other. They just sat there staring at the food. Buddhists, Baha'is, and Baptists, all religionists, regardless their label, whoever they had exalted themselves above during life, they found seated now across the same table. And the woman held contempt for man, because man said her role was for serving. Neither would feed the other, neither felt the other deserving. Throughout hell, I saw opposites attract, each couple bewildered and filled with dismay. No group was absent from this place. Did I mention the straight and the gay? Each hatred seemed greater than the one before. Which was worse? I can't rightly say, because after a while, hate is just hate. I don't think I'll ever forget that day. I asked to leave. It was too depressing. My sensitivity to the hatred made me just want to cry. Is everyone who can't resolve their hatreds here, I asked? My guide said no, just those who wouldn't even try. The setting in heaven was identical, except that the bonds of love seemed to control the seating. And although everybody was happily talking when I arrived, each stopped and offered me a personal greeting. The heavenly figure approached me and said, heaven has a special place for you, because while alive, you worked on your prejudices. Take a seat. You'll know what to do. Love begets love, and hate begets hate. What an interesting final accounting. Love or hate? The choice is yours. Just remember, someone else may be counting. And you may end up with people who feel just like you. And wouldn't that be the only fair thing to do? Think about your lives now. Be honest with yourselves, confide. Are there some changes that you can make while time is still on your side? Thank you.
All you need is one, to believe in your dreams. That one can be anyone, or so to me it seems. Just someone to spark your desire to dig inside. Someone you can trust, someone in whom you can confide. There's got to be someone who sees your light, who'll spur you on to win your fight. There's got to be someone who'll see you through. But in the end, that someone must ultimately be you. We're not in this alone.
Superwoman doesn't live here anymore. No, Superwoman doesn't live here anymore. Superwoman doesn't live here anymore. Last seen wandering aimlessly on some foreign distant shore.
She was so busy attending to this and that, I don't think even she knew where she was at. She kept trying to handle more and more. Seems she lost all track of what life is for. When I saw her last, she looked haggard and worn from doing for others or feeling the scorn, buying for others when her own clothes were worn, repeating the cycle every sundown and morn. No superwoman doesn't live here anymore. Superwoman doesn't live here anymore. No, no, I said superwoman doesn't live here anymore. And even though she was tired, they gave her more and more to do. Everybody wanted something, yes? Even you. And she felt very guilty because she couldn't get it all done. She got tired of watching everyone else having all the fun. So one day she left without a warning or cry, without a sermon or a party or a single goodbye. Superwoman seems to come and go. Her vocabulary doesn't contain the word no. We made her leave. She was getting neurotic. Her life was too busy, too hectic, too chaotic. Superwoman seems to come and go. No, no. Superwoman doesn't live here anymore. No, I said superwoman doesn't live here anymore. She went to work, earned a promotion, so the dishes aren't done. What's the commotion? She went out to dinner, took time for herself. I'd offer you something, but there's nothing on the shelf. Now, Superwoman used to do it all. She'd work, clean, cook, and shop. She'd finish it all, yeah, and then she'd drop. No, Superwoman doesn't live here anymore. I said, Superwoman doesn't live here anymore. Superwoman doesn't live here anymore. The lady here now, she minds the store. She gets lots of help. She has time for fun. She does what she can. She leaves the rest undone. And it's not that the lady doesn't care. She's just content with doing her share. Because Superwoman doesn't live here